Graduate college around 1981,
Yeah,
and you joined the Memphis Police Department.
exactly. I needed a job. And I mean, if I can think back on those days, man, I didn't have a penny. I had to borrow $100 from my brother who's in the Navy just to get back to Memphis from Nashville. I didn't have gas money. They had towed my car. I went into the employment office to try to get a job and park my car down the street somewhere and come back, the car towed. Then it towed it and didn't have anything. So yeah, I was happy to get that job. That was the first job I got that I made $1,175 a month. You know how much money it was at that time? I'll never forget, $1,175 a month. In the academy now, that was more money than I had seen.
Okay, so you joined Memphis PD, but then a few years later, crack actually hits Memphis.
Yes. Well, while I was on the PD, I was ended up in the TAC unit. They call it TAC. It's similar to SWAT. So in SWAT, when the crack epidemic hit, like I'm gonna say around 80, 89, 88, 89, something like that, 90s, early 90s. I got to do a lot of jump and grab, what we used to call it, because I was one of the black officers on the unit, and we worked with their interdiction unit, the city interdiction unit. So I got to feel just buy, and when you buy, somebody grab the guy, and it was just jump and grab. There was no investigation necessary. I bought from a guy, he sold me, and that was it. We went to jail. So it was a lot of crack men sold on the street. So I got my experience with that, and I realized that might be something I want to do.
Okay, now, there's always been hard drugs on the street, but crack was different. Describe to me what you saw when crack actually hit Memphis.
What I saw with crack was that just don't care about yourself. Do anything to get that crack. I mean, anything. I mean, the horror of using crack. And one of the indications that I tend to learn, and I learned this from a family member who was on crack, is they would do anything for money. They never had money, and they were some of the most intelligent. Well, their mind would come up with create some excuses that was unbelievable. I mean, that was just they would do anything to get that crack, get that fixed. I mean, like they would say that and when you talk to them, they say that crack is calling them. They can't function unless they get that next hit.
Well, as you saw the drug epidemic go crazy in Memphis, you ended up applying for the DEA.
Yes, I did. And eventually I applied. I remember applying like in 1988. Yeah, and I didn't get accepted for 2 years later. 1990 and 1991. I started in 1991. I went to the academy in Quantico, Virginia, which was a new start for me. And it just so happened, normally when you go with DEA or any federal agents, they don't send you back to this place that you're from. I was fortunate. I always say I got my blessings on the front end because at the time I had personal things going on in my life, divorce, and I had two boys, and I was just blessed and fortunate to come back to Memphis, which I kind of hit the ground. I did hit the ground running because